Joining us now to talk more about this is Akaash Maharaj, Senior Fellow at the Munk School of Global Affairs and Public Policy at U of T. Akaash, this is a huge step, but do you think this will lead to the end of the war and long-lasting peace?
Well, that's what all of us are hoping. But we have to be realistic. Even if this is just a ceasefire, that is an extraordinary improvement of the status quo. It seems likely that the ceasefire will hold for at least a few weeks. That will enable aid to reach the Palestinians who have been displaced. It will enable the hostages to be returned to the Israelis. Whether it lasts beyond a few weeks, only the next few weeks will tell.
What still remains unresolved, and how will this impact the next steps?
There are two major questions that remain unanswered. The first is, how will Hamas live up to its commitment to demilitarize and to place its weapons beyond active use? That is a commitment they have made. It is essential to this peace plan, but there is no indication as yet as to how they will dispose of their weapons, who will take possession of them, and how this will be verified. The second question is, who will govern Gaza, at least in the interim? The peace plan calls for what it describes as a group of non-partisan, technocratic Palestinians who will administer the territory while the next stages unfold. But it says nothing about who those people would be, how they would be chosen, or even to whom they would be accountable. That will be a significant issue to resolve before the plan can move forward.
What can we expect with the first phase?
Assuming that the Israeli cabinet ratifies this peace plan, the first thing that will happen is a cessation of hostilities. That is to say that Hamas will lay down its weapons, the government of Israel will cease its aerial bombardment of Gaza, and the government of Israel will pull its troops back from Gaza City to a line of demarcation. Hamas will then have 72 hours in which to return the remaining hostages to the Israelis. That is 48 people, of whom we generally believe 20 are probably still alive. The Israelis have committed that for every hostage whose remains are returned to them, they will return the remains of 15 dead Gazans. The Israelis have also promised to release about 2,000 Palestinians who have been imprisoned or detained over the past 2 years. Perhaps most significantly, the government of Israel has said that it will allow aid shipments into Gaza. It will allow trucks carrying food, water, and medical supplies to reach the Palestinian people. In the first instance, 400 trucks per day for the first 5 days, with the number of trucks increasing gradually over time until it reaches a threshold that has been agreed to or was agreed to in January of this year.
What is likely to happen to the Israeli government?
As for the government of Israel itself, that is one of the issues that might very well derail a long-term peace plan. The government of Israel, the Netanyahu government, is wildly unpopular with the Israeli population. A majority of Israelis want an early opportunity to vote Netanyahu out of office. But he has remained in office largely because his country is at war, and the population feels it would be reckless to change governments in the midst of combat. The end of the war could very well spell the end of his premiership and the fall of his government. Similarly, Hamas has been administering Gaza quite brutally for the past 19 years, and it has maintained its hold on Gaza through a combination of terror and cancelled elections. It has not allowed the Palestinian people to vote for the past 19 years because it recognizes that given the opportunity, the Palestinians would vote Hamas out of office. This is the knife's edge on which this entire peace plan balances. The fact that despite the reality that the vast majority of Israelis and Palestinians desperately want peace, they are represented at the negotiating table by political groups who have an interest in seeing peace fail so that they are able to remain in power.
In the past 2 years, the two sides have come close to bringing the war to an end, but then things fell through. What's your biggest concern at this point?
My fear is that there are too many political actors in both the Israeli and Palestinian political classes who see their own political ambitions as being best served by a continuation of the conflict. I think that Netanyahu recognizes that his ability to stay in office depends on his ability to say to the Israeli people that only he can protect them from Palestinian terror. And indeed, throughout this war, he has made repeated visits to Israeli courtrooms where he has been charged with a variety of crimes of corruption. While that is hanging over him, he needs a political distraction. He needs a pretext to remain in office. Similarly, Hamas is not a unified entity. It is a terrorist organization made up of a multiplicity of factions and of leaders who compete with one another for primacy. It would only take one of those leaders or a small faction within that group to pull the pin to destroy this peace because they feel that might give them an internal leg up or give Hamas an opportunity to return to power.
That's all the time we have today. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.